Hello, I'm Phil.
I'm Kate.
So today we're going to do a talk on the difference between heel spurs and heel pain. So heel pain is something we see every day. Kate, every day, how many cases would you see on a busy day?
On a busy day, probably 3, 4, 5, depends,
Yeah, really common problem that we see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, heel pain often gets called heel spurs, but we want to let you guys know something. If you've got heel pain and you've been suffering with it and you've been told you have heel spurs, guess what? Most people have heel spurs.
Yeah.
About 80% of the general population, adult population, if you took an X-ray, they would have a spur on the heel bone.
Yeah.
So pain in that area is different to having a spur there. So most people who have a spur won't actually have any pain. When we talk about heel pain, generally, it's not caused from the spur itself, it's caused from something else. So Kate, do you want to explain what it is that causes the pain generally in heel pain?
So generally I find most people who have that pain around the heel where they think they have a spur, it's not from the bone spur itself, it's more from the tendon that inserts right on that bone, that pulls away, and that pulling creates some inflammation, some swelling, and a lot of pain. And that's generally what causes it in most cases.
Yeah. The interesting thing about the spur is it does develop slowly over time because of tension. So having a heel spur does give a bit of information, particularly that there's a lot of strain on that area. But it takes decades for a spur like that to develop. So, yeah. That sudden increase in pain, as you said, Kate, is actually the soft tissue, isn't it?
Exactly right. Yeah. Not so much the bone itself.
Yeah. Now, the most common diagnosis that we'll give if someone comes in with heel pain would generally be what we call plantar fasciitis, which is that tendon or that poneurosis that grabs onto the bone in that area. Becomes quite inflamed. Now, if someone has a pain like this, Kate, what are the various things that you would be thinking about doing to help them for their heel pain?
Yeah, so we probably want to identify why this heel pain is happening in the start. Have a look at the biomechanics, seeing if the foot's moving in a certain way that's increasing their likelihood of getting this sort of pain, and then correcting that, whether that's looking at shoes, looking at strapping, maybe even orthotics as well too. All different ways we can change the tension in that tendon to release the pain as well.
Yeah. The cool thing about our bodies is they want to get better.
Yeah. And
we need to give them help sometimes. It's one of the most common presentations is someone whose foot is collapsing in too much, which is really going to provide a lot of tension on that area, and often that's how it starts, right? Someone with a foot like that will get a new job where they're standing a lot, or they'll start doing a new activity, such as they'll start training for exercise or for an event or going to the gym, and that area gets aggravated. So reducing the stretch and the load often will let that a piece of tissue get better. What are the other things we can do? Because a lot of people may have already had orthotics, and maybe it's reduced their pain in their heel, but it hasn't gotten rid of it. What are your other favourite special tricks to do, Kate?
So there's a couple other different treatment options that we can add on top of orthotics that can work on acute pain, but also that chronic pain as well too. So we have a low-level laser, which works to stimulate the tissues and helps that healing process, as well as a shockwave machine as well too, which is awesome for this sort of injury also. It can work for those people that have had it for a long time, and the collagen-based tissues, tendons and ligaments, they kind of get bogged in this chronically inflamed state where the tissue, it's tried to heal and it's healed in a really disorganized way, and the shockwave, it's like a little jackhammer that gets into the tissue. And we've got other videos. If you're looking in our page here, you'll see other videos on the shockwave machine. It actually breaks up that tissue and creates a response for that tissue to re-heal again in a way that is stronger and can handle load again. So if you've had heel pain and it's not quite fully gone away, often that's what we'll be looking at. We'll add that into the mix as well.
And that's usually about once a week for a month. For a lot of people, that'll be enough to get that healing process to kickstart and get moving again.
Absolutely.
I might talk about another thing that we can do, and this is a complex thing that relates to heel pain. Occasionally, in this area, there are some nerves that can get pinched in that spot. So the nerves can actually give that persistent long-term pain even after the tendon itself is healed. And there's several nerves, including the Baxter's nerve. If you have heard of that nerve and you have heel pain and you know what that's all about, that's something we can help with what we call perineural dextrose injections. So they're injections we can do around the nerve to calm it down and to get rid of that neurogenic pain. So if you've got heel pain and if you've been suffering with it and if you've tried none or some of those things, what should people do, Kate?
Give us a call, book online, come in and see us, and we can tell you all about all the different things we have on offer here to get rid of that pain once and for all.
Yeah, we'd love to help. We love the complex cases that you haven't been able to get help with. That's the kind of stuff we love to do because we want to see you, whoever you are, back doing the things you love.
Definitely.
Okay, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.